what the startup actually means and how it differs from the other steps. And what I wanted to do was just sort of give maybe a simple explanation of what the startup means. So we know we have this process here. And yesterday, when people asked me, the first thing that came to my mind was making a cake. Okay? So when you make a cake, when you bake a cake, there are certain things that you do, right? So before you start to bake the cake, you have to make a decision on what type of cake, right? You have to make a decision on who's going to bake the cake. You make a decision on, do you have an oven? Do you have the pans? And you make a decision on who's going to get the cake. Okay? So basically what you're doing is you're just organizing yourself to get ready to bake that cake, right? That's all the startup is. It's nothing more than organizing yourself to do the plan. It's just putting together some of the pieces that you need to plan. So in our case, we want to, rather than the E-EAFM process, it's the cake baking process. So here, all we're doing is saying, who's going to bake the cake? What kind of cake do we need to bake? Then, to start the process of getting your ingredients together, planning, of baking the cake, the doing. One of the things that we saw when we were doing the E-EAFM process was that you can't just hop into something. You can't just start making and getting all the pieces that you need to bake the cake. Does that make sense? Does that help better understand what the startup is? It seems very complicated and very long. To work with you, make sure that you have the resources that you need before you start to do the plan. That's all. So the startup seems complicated because we spent a lot of time talking about it, but in reality, it's just preparing yourself to do the plan, making sure the pieces that you need are available to do the plan. As those of us who are trying to rewrite some of this, we're going to reduce some of the PowerPoints and make it a little bit easier to understand. That's some of the feedback that we receive from you. So we're going to try to make it simpler so it's easier to understand. Okay? Any questions? Does that help explain it a little bit? I don't know. The cake thing.
ที่นี่แม่ค้าเจ้าของร้านมาซื้อหรือว่าเอาไปขายที่ตลาดด้วย
Yep.
อันนี้เป็นอะไรนะ
Not eaten with the restaurant and doing it along.
มีแต่รสนะ
Because the oil spill happen only this.
คือข้างบนพื้นดินนี่คือเป็นบ้านอย่างเดียวข้างในเป็นบ้านไม่มีสวนไม่มีทำอย่างอื่น
So maybe that's one of our goals.
You need to reflect this on your map to show where the trawlers are. And then visually you can see the issue.
So which color is Thailand? Yellow? So it's a Thai vessel. Thai vessel.
Where is the agent? Green.
Here one. Dikasih picture one.
Which one? On this near island usually.
No. They have the
Oh, di sini.
Oh, we just like
Ini kalau sekarang kan kita punya lulusan mangrove terbaik dunia kat sini lah.
I think it's not good for the mangrove because it's from the ocean.
Dekat sini confirm.
Maybe in Indonesia in here area.
Satu lagi Bapak. Ini kota ni nama mango.
Sini kan? Celah-celahnya.
This one's really zoomed in, huh? Quite good. I'm staying here.
Yeah, it's a bit hard. We're not showing the idea.
Yeah, no,
Focusing on the
for the purpose
practical.
of, okay, but yes, but for the purpose, it's okay. But for the purpose of the exercise, as long as we can see what the relationships are and all the dimensions of like how much you're all within one boundary, of course, in terms of governance, but there might still be.
เขต3 กิโล
No, well, this is governance. The regulations of this distance.
And they don't go further because it's small scale.
for generation protection and where the same
and protect the trawler from because trawler are not allowed to sold.
ไม่ได้วัตถุประสงค์หลักแต่มันก็ป้องกันได้คือห้ามคนลากเข้า
แต่
มา
ว่าต้องการที่จะ enhance
this is no fishing
But the
activity
main objective is
no
enhance
fishing
and
activity on artificial
ground.
For the artificial reef, they still have some small, because this area is kind of enhanced.
so that is only allowed
Oh
yes, actually. Normally, this bay is the unit. Fish gill net, have gill net.
Scale going here, they have a very big impact on the small scale, and I think we have to include them in the plan, also the large scale. Even if it's illegal, if it happens, I think we need to talk to them and say, look guys,
ใส่เข้าไปคือไปเป็นการไปกระตุ้นให้ปะการังเทียมไปอยู่ข้างหน้าปะการังเทียมไปอยู่เขาเรียกไงว่าไงต้องว่า
มันเป็นยังไงเป็นกล่องๆ artificial.
we started with an assumption, no?
So what is
Is there... We started with a...
Maybe one problem here is the low income. Low income because
Sejahtera. Di mana kalau Malaysia operasi drone?
ไม่เป็นไรหรอกเริ่มไม่เป็นไร
เนี่ย
ดูแผนใหญ่ดูนี้งง
แค่แผนคร่าว
อ๋อเราเอาแค่ตรงนี้มาเนาะ
ใช่ครับ
เราแค่ตรงนี้มาต้องเอาให้เขาดูด้วย เดี๋ยวเขางง
What is the problem with the fisheries?
maybe with the fisherman
Fishery. We don't know how much fish in Thailand water.
Okay.
Because when we make statistics, we collect from this fishing port, but fish come from Cambodia water to land here.
We're going to talk about later. Just now, the exercise is a photograph, a snapshot of, the boundaries and all the things that are happening. So you've got the physical boundaries, you've got the coastline, yeah, is that right? Yeah, you're showing, and what we're trying to do is map the elements of the fishery. So you've got the vision. No, that's not her. Yeah? No, you're not going to her. You're not going to her. She's up here.
he is the center then can I have 5 volunteers 5 Yes, you can have participation here. Part. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. And that is what we.
Growth, coastal development. Okay, these are drivers. We want to be down here. So what we've done here, from all your groups, and it's always interesting that the same issues come up from every country, every fishery, every group that I work with. And I've clustered them here into overfishing and overcapacity, habitat destruction and destructive gears, bycatch, pollution, endangered species, and then there was something about disease and general environmental. But all of your issues grouped up quite well into those main headings. For humans, we had a lot on awareness and education, conflict, livelihoods and income, and governance. Human capacity was common, money and lack of it, data and information and lack of it. Linked to the money is the subsidy issue. Cooperation and coordination comes up a lot here, comes up quite commonly, and transparency came up in the group. I guess if you'd asked me to give you a lecture about the issues of fisheries in Asia,
that's why they not follow our regulation, our try to act for
and I suggest that maybe we can solicit other because other one group is not supporting us. So
suggestions we will organize the one time of the discussion and invite them to join discuss, right? And for the game suggestions, they would like to invite some leader or representative to join with us. And
contribute.
How to
follow up action. I think now we all agree our solutions for the problem.
If we can find a solution like that, that would be very
we got very good suggestion for all members. Hopefully every time we will got
5 years. Maybe we can shorten it. We have to come up with the time fisherman can move on.
Yes. Short here. is general when we feel here. So I need to balancing everything in my group. So, so what happened is
it's very good now, but I think maybe I a little bit confused because I think the facilitators they are like the one who control the our discussion.
Who control?
Yes, I mean controls and facilitate for smooth discussion. But in our group,
All right, you're a mediator. Okay, so you're going to mediate. That's great. Okay. So at the moment, yeah.
แล้วตอน
เราจะมีอาชีพนะช่วงนี้ที่เราไม่มีรายได้เพราะว่าตอนนี้เราก็ไปทำที่อื่นไม่ได้
No, you're helping her be this. Yes. She's a helping facilitate.
วันนั้นปล่อยมา
สวัสดีครับมาประชุมกจ
Oh, have you started already?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Are you practicing?
Practice.
What are you explaining? They're commercial fisheries. They're going to have to facilitate.
Oh, but about the
You don't know their arguments.
They're going to have to.
Yeah, and the argument.
You know, we found out that the resource in front of your village is going to be destroyed. We want to implement the MPA. MPA is
for its open to we will try to
and other species.
This is our fishing area.
Okay.
These trawlers keep coming in.
Because we found out that the number of gong
association, fishing association, we have a problem, right? We have a boundary for catfish within 5 kilometers from shore. So right now, all the months of all the year.
I think you have disrupted our area.
Maybe we.
You're fishing there because our boat.
Your boat?
Yes.
Yes, really? But
Really?
it's not my boat, my vessel. My vessel didn't
Because you in
damage
the
your
land,
boat.
you're the fisherman in the sea. That's our boat. Right?
Not boat.
Very good.
We are full fishermen.
From your ancestors. Okay. They say that they manage they use the very good fishery management in capture or something like that. Really.
There's no fish there now, so we have to go where the fish is. I mean, it's reality. We have an income we need to make. We have expenses. We've invested. We need to get the fish. Yes, we need to feed our families.
We hope that they will not come into the kilometers of coastline, so they can catch where they're supposed to be and we can still
They said
As stakeholder participation process to decide. So maybe this is a misunderstanding now. What factors of the plan is it that you say you cannot agree to? I think at that time we didn't really know anything about the fish stock. I mean, the information wasn't really sufficient. And, you know, there's really no fish in our waters, and we have to go where we've got to go. I mean, I know you have a nice province and everything, but there's no line. We never know even if we're going there or if we're in our province or in yours. We never understand where we are. It's not our fault.
just come here every 1 month, 1 day. We stay here every day.
But you know, the sea catch bait being very important source for the primary production and any other organism. If we keep it, another area will be healthy of the.
Okay, and then you say that your resource is not depleted.
Yeah, we also
because
take
you
care
manage
of
that
all
care.
resource.
Okay, how about I give you choice? We do some exit plan.
What is exit plan?
Exit plan that from the we can make example from other country or the other. You surrender all your boats. No fishing activity. A new business.
An existing conflict, an existing disagreement amongst key stakeholders in this FMU. Yeah? So how do you think you did that? Did you manage? How did it, well, one, how did it feel, of course, as a participant, but, you know.
The very strong opinion from the foreign, from the outsider, on this side, they said they don't know the information from this regulation from our coast season area.
With empathy. Yeah. No, thanks. And while somebody is angry, I mean, think in your family. If someone is angry, it's no use talking to them and reasoning with them, or even trying to get things done. You have to go through that, and then you can come back and forth.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, so you may need to meet again and again.
You actually have to take the groups aside and resolve anger or understand anger before they can come to a table.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting to be a troll operator as a role play, because actually you realize it's very easy to be angry and disruptive, and actually that's the first point of attack. Just bark loud enough and then it'll go away, right? And you have
think about what you saw as the good facilitator, what you'd all written and drawn up as the good facilitator. And even if maybe by nature you're not, one to assert yourself, come in there feeling confident, with a strong voice. And just a side note, I've noticed a lot of times with the practice of facilitation, and I think it might be partly cultural as well, a lot of people are very soft-spoken. And so it's extremely hard to hear them. And so if you have somebody angry, then they're not going to hear you if you're really soft-spoken like that, which might actually make the people more angry. Like if somebody tells, as was mentioned over here, and also Derek mentioned, was, find out where they're coming from. People, a lot of times, when you're in an argument with family, you just want to be heard, right? I mean, that's part of it. And so, get them to talk one by one, whether they have to raise their hand or, even though it's a small group, get them to talk one by one. Don't let them sit there and go back and forth and interrupt. And say, listen, we want to hear both of your sides. Give this group respect. Let's hear what they have to say. And then let's hear what, this group has to say. And then, when you do that, then reiterate what...
Very polarized groups. That means they have very strong opinions. And it's worth bearing in mind, resource people as well, bearing in mind that in Asian society, very often a lot of pre-negotiation goes on before you even come in to a room like this. So when we had the thieving, robbing trawlerman Isra in there, with the small-scale fishermen who were unprepared, this is an example of how things can go wrong very quickly. Normally, if you have a situation where there's a very strong opinion or quite a strong conflict situation, you will have pre-meetings beforehand to start to get the story straight on both sides. On one side, you'll be talking to the trawlerman and saying, look, do you realize that the laws are like this, like this, like this, like this? With the small-scale fisherman saying, you tell us that this is happening, but do you have any evidence? Let's try and, why don't you, in 1 week, start to collect some photographs. That way, when you do come together, there is a little bit more of a basis for the discussion. Otherwise, it just stops. There are stages that you can go through before you come into the final discussion.
Yeah.
And often you all kind of agree to do that, but we're not going to agree to do that. And the other side saying, yeah, I guess it's okay if they do this, but really, they cannot do that. That way you sort of have some pre-negotiation. Okay?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's true. That's actually good. Thank you, okay. Okay. It's basically, if you are the mediator, you would be trying to follow a process here from steps 1 to 7. So it's a bit like what we've been saying here. It's a bit like, let's find a way to solve this that works for everyone. It's a bit like, what's the solution that Group A is proposing? What's the solution that Group B is proposing? You know, and then you would look at brainstorm, you know,